The drivers head to the beautiful streets of Monte Carlo for the latest round of the Apex Online Racing Split 1 Championship in Season 13. And Monaco, one of the most historic tracks on the calendar, one of the most demanding and most technical of the season. And these guys will be running very high downforce around this track, and the tyres as well will be some interesting strategies, but I think it will be a one-stop strategy this evening, with the purple striped Ultra Softs making their first appearance of the season, along with the red striped Super Softs and the yellow striped soft compound tyres around Monaco this evening. And now we're going to be taking you on board as always with a lap of the Monaco Street Circuit being driven this week by the current championship leader in the PC Split 2 Championship, Rigorous Tigers. He's coming in to the final corner, got to get a very good exit out of the corner, deploy the DRS for the short run down the main straight towards the very heavy braking of turn 1 at Sandoval, braking just under that F1 2016 banner, taking it very nice and smoothly up the hill. Here we go up towards the famous Casino Square section here, going to be braking down a couple of gears then to 4th gear, taking it nice and smooth there, short shifts up to 5th but drops to 4th to get a very good angle, then it's a little right left towards turn 5, and it's going to be coming up to the very technical and one of the slowest corners in Formula 1, the Grand Hotel hairpin, full lock as well through that corner, and he gets it absolutely spot on there, going through turn 7, then coming up to Mirabeau now, and he's getting that absolutely perfect there as he goes under the tunnel then, completely flat through here, and it's the most quickest part of the circuit as well. Going to be heavy braking to turn 10 and 11, the Nouvelle chicane. Just there's a little bit of a lock up there, but gets that apex absolutely spot on. Coming up towards Tabac corner, very easy to cut this one and hit that wall, and your race is over there like Tiger's just done there, running a little bit wide. Going through towards the swimming pool complex, a bit open than previous years, gets it completely with a lot of commitment. Coming into Rascasse then, nearly full lock in first gear maybe or second gear, coming out of the final corner, turns 18 and 19, back on the power, deploys the DRS, and that has been a lap of the Monaco Street Circuit for the latest round of the Apex Online Racing PC Split 1 Championship. Hello everybody and welcome to another round of the Apex Online Racing PC Split 1 Championship. And what a track we're driving on this evening. We are here at the beautiful Monte Carlo Street Circuit for round 5 of season 13. I'm Ryan Littlemore, otherwise known as Ryan83 from YouTube. Unfortunately, Chris or King Kodak could not be here tonight because he is unwell, so it is me in the booth on my own this week, but I am joined by our own little Ted Kravitz here, the Finnish version of Ted Kravitz. Marco FD has joined us once again. Marco, great to see you as always, and hype for Monaco tonight.
Hello Ryan, hello everyone, good to be back as always. Yeah, for sure, Monaco is of course the jewel in the crown of the F1 calendar, and promises to be a very exciting race tonight.
Just want to say, if anyone just saw that, Nooker is already out of qualifying already, just made a mistake at after the Casino Square section and just lost it and hit the wall there, so unfortunately, we've got this bug with the sound, so I do apologise in advance with that, but Nooker already out of qualifying, and it's only been a few minutes in, so not the start that he wanted in this weekend at Monaco here. But also, guys, we are trying something completely new tonight for the Driver of the Day voting, which will be out in the last 5 laps of the Grand Prix. To complete, it's just a form, you just got to tick the one that you like, and we'll reveal the winner at the end of the Grand Prix as well, so keep an eye out for that, guys. It will be up in the last 5 laps of the Grand Prix. It's a new thing, and we would love some feedback as much as possible for this one. But at the minute, we're watching Nick B as he's on the ultra soft tyre as he's going through the middle sector, then coming up to the swimming pool complex. Very tight and twisty one, but this section here has changed over the years. It's a lot more open, so the drivers can take a lot more speed through that corner than previous years. But he's coming up then towards the final corner. He's got a bit of traffic up ahead of him there of the Haas driver. I don't know who that is, but we're going to see what he's going to set as a benchmark. It's going to be a 1 minute 13.4, which only puts him P4 at the session there. We've got Randrop in that Red Bull in P5 at the minute, as he's also on the ultra soft tyre. But we've got a quick look at the weather conditions for the Grand Prix, as I have no idea at the minute.
Ryan, all dry, sadly.
As Marco's clearly out there. Our own little weatherman as well has just told us it is dry as well for the 4A. So no rain this week, which will be a delightful sign for many of these drivers after last week's bizarre race in Spain, which I would always remember for a very long time, and I think Marco will agree with me on that.
It was one crazy, let's say roulette, Russian roulette. It's best to call it, but yeah, due to the weather for the race, I expect yeah, strategy-wise things to be fairly straightforward. As you can see, these guys are all coming out on the ultra softs. And if they can, yeah, let's say maintain their pace until lap 15, they can easily do a one stop. Yeah, let's say tomorrow during race day.
Ram drop up to P2 then, a very respectable time there of 1:12.5, but currently 1:12.3, sorry, as we've got Wycom's in pole position with a 12 flat, which is pretty quick right there. We saw Saffron's unfortunately crashed out already, and we've lost Fav Racer as well, who's out of the session. So I'm pretty sure he could get back into the session and get a time on the board. We're looking at Papa right now in the banana car, the Renault, in a very impressive P5 in his second race in PC Split 1 after making his debut last time out in Spain in very tricky conditions. So it's a bit of a contrast for him today, and we'll just see right there. And yep, just want to clarify in the chat, if you just joined, Kodiak is not here this week. He is unfortunately ill, and hopefully he gets back up to normal health and will be back for us next week in Canada, which should be a very interesting race as well. With what we've seen over previous years in PC Split 1, you never know what could happen there, as Papa just lets through the Force India of Max, as I think he's coming into the pits. He does indeed. And does Papa come in as well? He does as well. So quite a few drivers there. And now we've got the Lord and Saviour. No, it's not Ria Harrianto, it's Fizzy Fan 91 right now, as he's coming through the tunnel and into the very tight chicane section here, where I've had some pretty interesting collisions over the years, I'm not going to lie. Especially last year, hitting that corner 3 times at that inside curb, and doesn't really work out for me. And he's put a 1 minute 3.6. I think this could be an in lap here for Fizzy. I'm not too sure. It's a very slow out lap here, so I think this either is an in lap or he's just about to start one. So we're about to find out if Fizzy comes in. He does indeed. Who is currently P8, and Fizzy historically has done well at this track, getting numerous podium positions in Xbox. In the top flight in that league there. So Fizzy, one to watch out for this evening as a definite contender. Watching Nick B then, who has a lot of work to do. He's down in P9 at the minute, not saying a very respectable time for this driver who's currently in a championship fight with Berg von Tripp. So obviously Berg winning last time out in Spain, if you guys have not seen that one, and he's just ghosted, so I think he may be backing off here. I'm not too sure what's going on with Nick B's car. And I think this could be a out lap, so we'll have to wait and see what he's going to be doing right now as he's winding up. But he's hit the wall though, so maybe a bit of contact there, maybe a bit of loss of front wing. No, he's got a full nicely. Oh no, he's going back in again, so I think he did pick up some damage there. Failer next in the Force India then, driving as the Hulk, Nico Hulkenberg in this race, and doing pretty well in P10, sets a 19.5 first sector, not bad first sector time for Failer, and who's had a little bit of unluckiness this year, I've got to say. We had the incident I think he had a puncture, or he ran out of fuel in China, if I remember very well. So he's got a lot of work to do in this race. He's going through the tunnel then, and very flat through here, coming up to a very heavy braking zone, which we've seen so many drivers in real life have issues with, and he locks the front tyre there, and again on the front right, but gets it nicely done. A little bit of a tank slapper coming out of the chicane, but it's a very clean lap, this one here from Failer, and just scrapes the wall a little bit there, but gets away with no damage, and a 53.8 middle sector. Not a bad time there for Failer, coming in to the final couple of corners. He goes then, and is this going to be a respectable time? Nope, I think he's backed off again, so everyone's struggling with this track, Marco, and being a former champion of PC Split 1, how difficult is Monaco from your perspective?
Yeah, well, good question. For me, it's the hardest track on the calendar. Basically, you have to nail a lap by taking a lot of risks, while in the race you technically drive under the limit the whole time, so yeah, it's going to be tricky, at least.
And what are we looking for in terms of strategies tonight? We've got a dry race, so that's quite encouraging. We have got the Ultra Softs, the purple stripe tyre, which you can see from Nally's car. We've got the super soft red stripe tyre and also the yellow stripe soft tyre. So what will these guys be doing in the race come race day?
Well, if they can keep all the bits of their wing on their car, you want to go for a one stop on this track, because you don't want to be behind someone, because overtaking is super hard, and managing tires is doable here because track length is rather short, and main wear is on the rear tires. So one stop. Depending if you are good or bad on your tires, your second stop is going to be on a super soft or on the soft. So it's going to be interesting, but track position is everything here.
It is indeed, and watching that at the minute, I just want to clarify something in the chat right now. The reason why the sound's a bit weird is because unfortunately I was watching Nuka crash in the wall at Casino Square, and unfortunately what happens is the fact that the game has this weird sound glitch, which you can hear right now. So unfortunately this is what it is for now until the end of qualifying, so I do apologise, but what can I say? But a few people have retired from the session quite early here, maybe hitting the wall there. So we had Fab Racer out, and we also apparently had Ycoms out as well, who was provisionally in pole position with a 12 flat. So interesting top 5 at the minute. We've got Ycoms on pole, who's actually out of the qualifying, unfortunately. We've got Ram in second, then we've got Afro in third, then Berg Von Trips, the current championship leader, in P4, 2 tenths off, and then we've got Slick in P5, one of the new guys as well. In his second race, and is up to P5. So the new guys, I've got to say, Slick and Papa.
Ram moves up to pole.
And Ram's up to pole, then into the 111s for Ram on the ultra soft tyre. So a fantastic time there for Ram. And the times, I believe, and I think you agree with me on here, Marco, will be somewhere around the high 11s, I think, from that statement there from Ram Drop.
Yeah, I guess 11.5 or 4 pole time.
We'll have to wait. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Obviously, conditions can play a factor in this, I believe, with these warm tyres. As Afro comes into the pits, and we're now watching Slick as we're going to jump on board with him. Unfortunately, the sound doesn't really help this, so I can't really say this. But I will apologise in advance to everyone watching this if we can't get as many battles on the screen. Obviously, Kodak would have been nice to have a better bird's eye view of this. So I will try my very best on my side to try and get the best as much as possible. As Slick just clipping the wall there before the swim complex, and very tight as well. Very tight, I've got to say, for him there. And I think he's got a car up ahead. I think it's Ram Drop who just goes into the pit. So thankfully he gets out of the way there. But we're going to see where Slick will come in then. Down the straight then with the DRS open. And it's going to be a 112.3, which puts him up to P3.
Nice job.
Very nice time there from Slick in only his second race in PC Split 1. That is a fantastic job from Slick. And he's only 2.5 tenths off. And he was quickest of all in that first sector. So if you just get
it's good that you mentioned that, Ryan, what I said about like over the limit, under the limit on this track, because pole has no purple sectors, and P2 has the second sector to his name, and P4 has the third to his name. So
I've got to say, if Slick gets the middle sector absolutely perfectly, he could be on pole here. He's lost nearly 3 tenths to Ram Drop in that middle sector, so if he gets that right, he could definitely be on pole position for this Grand Prix. As we get Afro now coming out of the pits then, as we hit the 5-minute warning mark for the end of qualifying. So these drivers will have at least one more run in them to try and get up the field as high as possible. As we're now watching Berg Von Trips then, the current championship leader in the Split 1 Championship for Season 13. And he looks pretty strong this season, and I've got to say, he's not looking good round here. He's down in P6 at the minute. Not where we would expect to see Berg right now. He's 3.5 tenths off, but you never know. We know Berg, he likes to pop in a good time right at the end of the session, so we have to wait and see how that goes.
Fizzy is about oh no, he's coming in the pits.
I think Fizzy likes to come into the pits there, but we'll do a lap then of on board with Berg then for this lap on the ultra soft tyres with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go. He's going up to Sandavot then, very nice and clean through turn 1 there. If you cut too much, you get a corner cut warning, or you get your lap invalidated, of course. But up the hill he goes, up towards the Casino Square on the right hand side there. Beautiful building that is. I've been actually to Monaco a few times, not when the Grand Prix is on, but a 19.3 first sector, which is he's gained a tenth in the first sector on his PB, so he's closed the gap there. But a massive lock up there on the left front there through the hairpin there. I'm very surprised he could lock up through there. But he's got a bit of traffic here as one of the Hasses gets out of the way very quickly for him. So he's up by a tenth, but so it's about, what, 2.5 tenths off the pace of the lead, and he's got a Ferrari ahead of him, which isn't going to help him, but he luckily gets out of the way, and I think that was Kalon there. And he's coming up then towards the end of the middle sector. What's his time going to be is going to be the question. It's a 34.7, and maybe he's backed off a little bit. I think I'm not too sure if he's really pushing this lap. We'll have to wait and see as he's locked up both front tyres going into the final corner then. And is this going to be an improvement for Bergman Trips then? As he's coming up to the line. We've got yellow flags out, so he's got to think about that as well. And he's going to move. No, he doesn't. He stays in P6 for the time being, but maybe he'll go for one more flying lap. So we'll have to keep an eye on his times as we get the Lord and Saviour of AOR. AOR Fizzy heads back out of the pits on another set of ultra soft tyres. And it is literally a traffic jam right now. All these guys
Track's getting busy, yeah. 13 out of 20 cars out, and I believe you told me some people also retired already.
Yep, quite a few have retired, I think hitting the wall and retiring. Obviously Nuka was one of them 2 minutes into the session. We've got Fucatoro in the Haas in P10, not a bad time for him right now, a 112.9, only a second off. Well, I've got to say, first all the way down to 12th, covered by a second, exactly a second, so that's not bad. But he's Nick B down in 11th place. That is not where you expect to see Nick B around Monaco, especially. He is very quick. I think he did pretty well last season, I think, if I recall, in Monaco. So I'm surprised he's down in 11th, but he will, if he stays where he is, he gets the free allocation of tyres being the first driver, so that's definitely something. But he's got traffic ahead of him of Berg, actually, but he may get some cheeky slipstream as well. The camera doesn't really help us here, but he's going to come up to the line. It's going to be a 112.1, which puts him up to P3. That's more like it, Nick B. Get yourself up into the top 3 right there. But Ramdrop's still on pole position. We know Wycombs will not set another time, as unfortunately he is out of the session. Obviously, with
everyone but one driver is on the track, I think.
Gotta say, this is ridiculous. 14 drivers on the track. That is what we don't want to see for anyone driving in this race right now. But look at Nick B. He is all over the back of Berg von Trips now. He's actually on a lap as well, and he's got Nick B's teammate ahead of him, Kalon, as well. So Berg's in a Ferrari sandwich, which is not what he wants right now. So we'll have to wait and see. And apparently in the chat, Wycombs could have gone quicker. Nick's just mentioned.
On his lap
and this, I don't know what's happened there. Berg has just lost it completely at the chicane. I think that could have been a bit of lag contact there with Nick B, but that is not what Nick Berg wanted, and that will be his qualifying over unless he's got some fuel in the car. But he is out of this qualifying session. No more time for him. We'll watch Fizzy then. In the final sector he goes, and Nally is retired from the session. I think he's done for the qualifying session. And Fizzy back end slides out there, coming in to the final couple of corners. And he locks the front right, just goes a little bit wide. And coming in to the final corner, and then gets a great exit. What's this time going to be for Fizzy as he's coming up? He's currently in P10. Is he going to improve? Nope, he stays in P10 for the time being. As we watch Kalon now, as he nearly hits that inside wall, that would have been game over for him for his qualifying. And he's done a 19.5 first sector. Not too bad, about 2 tenths off for what we've seen so far.
Good here.
What was that about, Ram?
Ram's looking pretty good here for his pole position.
So we're on board with Ramdrop right now. I think he's back. He has backed off. You can see him short shifting there, so he is done for the day. As Afro up to P2, I forgot to mention him. And we'll try and get on some good cameras here. Here we go. As he's going to switch me to Ramdrop, unfortunately. But we're going to watch Afro, who's up in P2 right now in that McLaren Honda. And only 2 tenths off pole. But it looks like Ramdrop is on course for pole position here in the Monaco Grand Prix.
His first one in the season?
We'll have to wait and see, as he's actually retired from the session right now. So he's done all he can do right now as he's coming up then towards the slow braking zone is Afro, and definitely one to keep an eye on because he's done pretty well this season.
Afro is not improving on this lap, I think.
Afro's not improving. We'll just keep an eye on him for the time being as he's going very quick through the swimming pool complex. He goes, takes a lot of curb there. Maybe an Nevada lap could possibly be there for him, as we've got Mathis retiring from the session as well, and the Ferrari gets out of the way. Fizzy's retired from the session as well, but as we're going to see, can Afro get pole position driving as JB this week, and is he going to get pole? Nope, but he improves by attempts and moves only just under 2 tenths behind the pole time there.
I think he did 3 laps on those ultra softs, like 3 timed laps in a row or something.
So that is it. Qualifying is done then, as we're just waiting for Papa to retire from the session, and then we will go through the grid for this
He
round
might
5.
go for an earlier stop than the other ultra soft runners if he's done
Could be
3 laps.
could be very tactical here. But here's the official grid then for the Monaco Grand Prix. Got to do this quickly because or I'll stay in the game basically. But Rams on pole, Afro second, Wycom's in P3, Nick B in 4th, Max P5, Slick P6, Papa 7th, Berg in 8th, down the pecking order. Very disappointing from him. Federer in 9th, Fizzy 10th, and the rest of the field will be on your screen. And we will have to leave the session, unfortunately, because we will basically be part of the game, which is obviously not what we want, of course. So, and it's giving me another timer here. So I think we've got a bit of time on our hands here, Marco. So we can just chill for a little bit. But a good qualifying session. The whole field covered by 1.5 seconds, which is pretty good round here, I've got to say.
For
So
sure.
we could be in for a good race here, I've got to say. Any one of these guys could make a mistake, and it could be game over for these guys. So you never know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. So what we're going to do is we'll have to wait a couple of minutes before we get into the session. This is only because we don't want to be in the game, that we're solid cars, and when we come back in again, we'll
At
be
what
ghost.
point are we supposed to join? When the parade lap has started?
Yep, so let me know, guys, in the comments below of this stream who you're cheering on for this race tonight. There are some big names here, and it's very close in this race, so
Yeah, who's your money on, Ryan?
I don't know. It's tough. Obviously, you got Ramdrop on pole. You got to go for the man on pole, but Wycombs looks pretty good. I know Phil in the chat is a very big fan of Wycomb, so I think he's going for him tonight. Who else have you got? You've got
Afro looks
Berg.
really feisty as well.
You got to admit as well, some people may try and do the undercut here and try and get out. Obviously, the Super Softs can run as long, of course. They could get to the end, so it's all about strategy tonight. It will be quite interesting how this lays out right there. So at the minute, we're just waiting to get approval to join the session. That's why you're seeing a race broadcast screen. And once we get in, we will let you guys know, and we'll crack on with that. So I think we should be ready to go in now, I think, Marco. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
So we'll just join back in. And we'll just wait until we get approval, and then we'll crack on with this one. So we're just going to join back in again. There we go. So we're just waiting at the minute. I think we'll join now, Marco. I think we should be fine to get in. It's a dry race as well, so that's great. One stop here as they are on the formation app then for the Monaco Grand Prix Round 5 of the Apex Online Racing PC Split 1 Championship. Very kindly provided by Codemasters, bringing out a brilliant game, of course, for providing these Apex Online Racing leagues, which have been going on for a very long time, since F1 2010. So great support from Codemasters to bring us a game like this for you guys to enjoy an hour and a half of your time watching the best drivers from PC on Steam put on a great show for us that we've seen this season. Absolutely been a great start to the season, got to say. We've seen some fantastic racing, great battling as well. Looks like it's going to be maybe a 3-horse race for the championship, obviously with Berg, Nick B, and also Wycombs as well. So it should be quite interesting to see who will win this one. But obviously, you know, actually I haven't really given who my vote is for the win this week. I'm going to probably go.
Yeah, just ask you.
I'm going to go for Afro in the McLaren behind Ramdrop. Obviously, you think he's done more laps on these Ultra Softs, but maybe may go for the cheeky undercut here. So I'm going to go for him. So Marco, who you going to root for tonight?
It's all in the start, really, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the pole man Ram tonight.
So I have to wait and see, as a few cars already on the grid there, so I think they may have had a little bit of a nightmare racing, trying to do a formation at round Monaco, but the drivers are getting themselves ready then. On the grid we go, and if you like the stream, guys, and you want to keep in touch with the Apex Online Racing broadcast, then make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe as well, so you do not miss out on these broadcasts here for the Apex Online Racing PC Split 1 here, as we are now set to go then, and I'm going to try and get on board with Ramdrop, but the lights are on, the revs are building. Round 5 of the Apex Online Racing is go here in Monaco, and it's a great start from Ramdrop as well. Afro getting a good start on the outside, going into Sandoval they go. It's clean for the time being. Wycomb's behind, defending for his life against Nick B. Everyone's got
someone's off.
We've got a man off behind us. I think Marco could just clarify for us very quickly if he can. And we've lost someone already. Nally is out of the Grand Prix already, the man who hosts the lobby. So hopefully he doesn't leave us this time around, and we won't have any calamities from last week. Right there, so that's unfortunate to be out of the race after one lap, one corner, That is not what we want right there. But the top three pulling away a little bit from 4th place, but Ram still leads from Afro. Then Wycombe's in 3rd. Nick B slowly falling back, and he's got Max up in P5. Max doing a great start there in that Force India, but everyone, apart from Natty, has got through cleanly so far. And Marco, have you got any clarification on what happened at the start as Mercedes actually gone off the track there? I'm not too sure, was that Slick it was who went off at the chicane? So
Yeah, it looked like Nally was on the outside, and I don't know who was on the inside. I suppose it was the Williams that's in last now, but you can't assume really. But there was small contact there, and I think Nelly went straight on and pretty much.
Oh, and Saf nearly in the back of the Red Bull there, very close up towards Nooker's back end there. So that would have been a bit of a scary moment there. But Ramdrop still leads the Grand Prix then. As we'll head back up to him, he's got a nice little gap to Afro, with the gap being 6/10 of a second, who is under pressure from Wycombes in that Mana Racing or Manaruja? I don't know what to say right now, but Wycombes definitely in a good position right now. He's just going to take it. Some of these guys behind Afro and Ram will just be very cautious, save some tyre wear, maybe save some fuel as well, and then make their charge once people ahead of them make their pit stops. But it's going to be, I think this race is going to be won in that pit stop when they pit halfway through the Grand Prix. So all about who blinks first and gets the undercut absolutely spot on. And I think for any of these guys, they've got to stay with each other and just wait for that chance to pit and try and jump a position up or even lose positions if the undercut does not work. But Wycombes taking it very nicely there through the swimming pool complex, and comes into the final couple of corners he goes. But pretty say top three very close at the minute as they come on to start another lap. Then Ramdrop still leads, and now the DRS will be enabled for the drivers. And if you're new to F1, the DRS only comes into play after lap 3, and if a driver like Wycombes, for example, is a second behind the car ahead of him, which is Afro, with the gap being 0.8 of a second, then Wycombes will be given DRS down the main straight, as there's only one DRS zone at this track. Of course, it's a bit dangerous to do it somewhere else apart from the main straight, so this track is very difficult for overtaking. I think Marco will agree with me on that.
Yeah, it's a matter of trust in the other driver that you're overtaking, and really committing, unless the other driver ahead makes a mistake. That's pretty much the only track for overtaking.
Going down towards P5, then there's a battle going on for P4. I think Nick B starting to struggle a little bit, it seems, on those ultra soft tyres. He's got a bit of a train now starting to build up behind him of about 5 cars, which is not what he wants to see in the back of his mirrors right now. But he just lost a little bit of a tank snapper there as well. But do you think anyone, Marco, would go and take a gamble for 2 stops here if they feel it's worth trying it, or do you think it's just definitely a 1-stop round here?
I'd only, let's say, contemplate a 2-stop if I had damage.
But would you also consider, like, pitting, if they had an incident right now, would they consider the soft tyres and go to the end of the Grand Prix on them? Do you think they can go that long?
Soft tyres till the end? Well, it's worth a gamble, but I'm not sure if it's doable.
It will be interesting to see if anyone does make the switch to soft tyres, potentially, but we'll have to see how long these ultra softs can last, because in these conditions they will take a beating round here, I've got to say, compared to the super soft tyres. Ramdrop still leads this Grand Prix then, not by much though, at the top 3. I'm just going to have a little cheeky look at Wycombe. The gap is 1.3 seconds between the top 3 right now, and should be quite exciting to see what you guys are deciding right now, who you think is going to win this Grand Prix right now. And at the end of the broadcast, with like 5 laps to go of the race, you guys can have a chance of deciding who your driver of the day is going to be. We're trying something completely new this week, which I hope you guys will like, and it will be something that we'll use for the rest of the season. So once we hit 5 to go, the moderators of the stream will be posting a link that you guys can click on and just click for your driver that you want to vote for as driver of the day for Monaco. So more of that will be later on in the race, but now Wycombes gets DRS and Ramdrop did get the fastest lap, but before Wycombes comes in with a 14.3 and has closed the gap then by 1/10 of a second. But look at the gap these guys have got to the cars behind us. I'm just going to try and catch up to Nick B as he's nearly 5 seconds behind actually the race lead. But he could be doing this tactically. Maybe he's trying to preserve a little bit of tyre wear, try and go as long as possible on these ultra softs, because I can possibly do around about 20 laps on these on a fresh set. So maybe they'll go to maybe lap 16, 17 potentially, depending on how many laps they've done in qualifying. But look at the cars here. All now getting up behind Nick B now. Nick B is getting a bit of a train going on, so a bit of a hashtag Nick B train in the chat will be great to see. And we see some people in the chat going, softs are just crap around here. And I've got to say, they are not the greatest. There's been a bit of lock up there from, I think that was Slick in that Mercedes, and got Papa as well. Berg von Trips is in this battle, but we're going to go to the back of the train, and we jump now on board with Fizzy in that Mana Rouge, I said it again, Mana racing car. And he's got Berg von Trips ahead of him here. So Fizzy, normally the king of Monaco here, just because of his great performances here over the years. He did say he was not looking forward to this race. He's not up to pace with the guys, but he's keeping up with Berg von Trips, so he can definitely take away that away when he leaves this race this week, that he's not far away from the current championship leader, as I think we just lost someone as well. I'm not too sure who that was.
Migrated the host, but it doesn't get stuck this time, luckily.
And that is fantastic to see right now. So we're going to just go for the back of the field quickly. A lot of you are requesting right now. Saf already pitted, and he's on the... Is he already pitted? I think he may be on the super... He is on the super soft tire, but we don't know if he's pitted or not. But I'll have to wait and see. He's hit the wall, though, so that's not ideal. And again, he hits the wall. But luckily for him, no contact there. So Saf's not doing well, unfortunately, down in 14th place. We know he's a quick driver, we have to say, but we'll have to wait and see. His Fab Racer down in 18th position. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's on the soft tyres now. So I think he's definitely made a pit stop in this Grand Prix. He's going to go to the end of the Grand Prix, and hopefully those soft tyres for him will just burn up a little bit quickly and give him the temperature he needs. But Ramdrop starting to open the gap a little bit to second place of Afro. You can just see that. So Afro now a little bit under pressure from Ycoms, and actually Afro is outside the DRS zone of just under by 6/100ths of a second. So if I was Afro, he's got to get a move on right now and stay with that Red Bull driver of Ramdrop and get that DRS back. So at the minute, though, this is the battle we're focusing on now. Nick B in P4, under pressure from Max in the Force India behind him in P5. So I've got to say, Max is doing a pretty good job here in that Force India. We've not really mentioned him this season, and doing a great job in 5th place for that Force India, who we know historically is good around this track for tyre wear right now.
They are pulling away from the guys behind as well, because they are starting to battle each other. I'm not sure if it's smart considering it's only lap 7, but Nick really needs to get a move on, because between those 3 drivers behind him is his championship rival as well. So.
Gotta say, Papa in P6, the lead in the train at the minute, as he's having a little bit of a lock up there, but he's got Slick and he's got Berg, the 2 Mercedes right behind him. We don't want to see a Rosberg-Hamilton moment, especially around Monaco, which could cause a little bit of a part-up, obviously with a big group of cars right now. And good old Killer Carrots in the chat. Great to see you, Chris. Hope you're feeling better. Everyone in the chat now, let's get a hashtag going for Chris. Hashtag get better.
Pace as well, like you said, Ryan. Socrates overtook him, and now Berg's about to overtake him as well into turn 1.
He has indeed, and just caught the moment there of the overtake. So Berg moves up to P7. Maybe it could be a tactical move. Maybe Toto Wolff's had a little cheeky word with the Mercedes drivers. They, switch positions, and we'll see how Berg does as he gets up to the back of Papa. And I think you can just see the difference there, Berg compared to Slick. Berg's already pulled out.
Something also, did Sefso pit?
I think he did. I think, is he on soft tyres? Just have a
53 seconds away from the leader, so
yep, he's pissed again.
Must be something happening as well, because it's not a pit stop.
Yeah, I think he's back in again. So I like to call Chris Killer Carrot for some strange reason, because his name reminds me of a YouTuber, so that's why I mention it in there. So we know Chris is unwell this evening and can't be with me tonight in the commentary booth, so that's a bit of a disappointment. But we will hope.
Better, Chris.
We hope to see you back next week.
Ycoms is applying pressure to Afro now.
He is indeed. We're going to jump on board with the Mana car as he comes on to the main straight then. As we've already done 9 laps of the Grand Prix. It doesn't feel like 9 laps right now. There is a hashtag going in the chat right now for you, Marco, with the hashtag Marco Raikkonen. As we just see Saffron coming out of the pits again on ultra soft tyres. So I'm not sure what Saf's doing here.
Oh.
Maybe he wants to showcase the tyres a little bit for Pirelli, maybe he's doing a bit of promotional work for Pirelli. He's doing tyre wear testing for season 14 of AOR, so that's great to see, as Ycoms is getting really agitated, I think, behind the back of Afro right now. So
Yeah.
Wycombs has to make the move done because he's looking pretty quick here. And if he
Yeah,
wants
he's
to...
seeing the Red Bull pull away, and
Not by much, though, I've got to say.
Safro called it a day.
I've got a hashtag bring back Chris. Well, we hope Chris gets better for next week for Canada. And Canada's a good track, so I hope to have him back, because doing this on your own is very difficult, I've got to say. I know I've got Marco with me, who's going to jump in at a point, you know, but I do miss Chris that much. So Chris and I are like two peas in a pod. We're like David Croft and Martin Brundle. You need to have the regulars. So I hope to see you back,
You
Chris.
need to have two guys that are able to speak a lot.
We do indeed, as Wycombs a little bit of a mistake there. Afro's pulled a little bit away from Wycombs, as they are now on to lap 10 of this Monaco Grand Prix. We'll go for the order for you. So it is Ramdrup. You can just see him up the road there, leading the Grand Prix. We've got Afro in second. We've got Wycombs in P3. Then we've got Nick B, who's still under pressure from Max in the Force India. But look who's joining the party. Berg von Trips is now on the charge, and he's catching them quite quickly now. He's 11 seconds behind the race lead, though, so if he wants a chance of podium, he's got to get past these guys very quickly. Then in 7th, we've got Papa in the Renault in P7. Then we've got Slick in P8. Under pressure from Failer in the Force India in P9. And getting the last points paying position is Kalon in the Ferrari. And then behind him, we've got Matheson in 11th. Then we've got Chicane in 12th, having his own little race there, which is great to see for him. Nuka, who had the crash in qualifying in P13 on the soft tyre, which I believe he'll go to the end of the race on those tyres. Then Focatoro in P14 on the super soft tyre. Then we've got Fab Racer down in 15th place, not where you want to see. He's also on the soft tyre, so he may go to the end of the Grand Prix. Then we've got Fizzy down in 16th, and he's also pitted as well on the soft tyre. So maybe the soft tyre could be
on charge here, because he's behind the Force India, who's behind Nick. So let's say a few laps.
Oh, and there's an overtake going on. Max tried to go for a move on Nick B at Raskas, I believe that is, and did not work for him, unfortunately.
Berg might have his chance now into turn 1.
I think I got the corner name wrong there, so I'll probably get that stick in the chat right there. But Max tried to go for a move, it didn't work, and Berg is now all over the back of these two drivers right now. So I wonder if any of these guys may take the gamble and go on the soft tyre, like Fizzy's done and Fab Racer's done as well. So it could work for them, the soft tyre, and we'll have to wait and see if that is the right choice of tyre. But I'm surprised that people are driving on the soft tyre in this one. So
yeah, it is quite a slow tyre compared to the ultra soft or the super soft. So I'm wondering if they will do a good undercut here or not.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I am very intrigued and to see if the soft tyre is the best tyre to be on right now. But we're on board with Berg as he's behind the battle for 4th between Nick B and Max, as Berg very late on the brakes and is all over the back of the Force India. He gets a good run, and he's going to maybe go for a cheeky move, but sees it's not possible and backs out of it. And we'll just have to wait until the main straight to try and make his pass done, like he did on his teammate Slick, and gets a brilliant run through the swim pool complex. He's going to go for a move. Max locks up and leaves the door open on the inside. Is he going to go for the move? No, he backs out of it and will make the run down the main straight with DRS here. And maybe Berg's running maybe less wing potentially to try and close the gap, but he just can't get it done. But all this is doing is giving Nick the chance to pull away a little bit, but he's 12 seconds off the lead. That is not what we want to see from Nick B right now. But we're just going to go through and see if there's any cheeky...
Definitely off the pace this week.
Which is not what we expect of Nick B, I've got to say. And this will mean as Berg's going for the inside move on Max. Oh, and they're side by side there, trying to not make any contact, and Berg had to try and do it. But Berg has to really get past Max here if he wants to try and not lose as much points as possible to Nick B. So this is going to be very interesting, I've got to say right now. Saf's not having the best race, unfortunately. A lot of people want Saf in the interviews. Is he still racing, I believe? Is he retired? He is.
No, he retired.
He's retired. So Marco, if you could you just bring Saf in if you can? I'm not sure.
Sure.
We're going to try this new initiative thing of bringing people in like they're doing real life F1. If you could just let me know when he's in, and we'll have a little word with him. I think the people are requesting Saf in the chat, so we shall deliver, I will say, as we'll wait for that to happen, as Berg's got DRS now on the Force India of Max, and he's going to get it done before turn 1. The answer is no. He stays put for now, but he's all over the back of that Force India, and he's got to go for it. Berg. He has to pass him and try and keep his lead as high as possible in this one. So we'll have to wait and see. But Nick B's made a mistake.
Saf here in the commentary box.
And we are now joined with Saf, but we're just keeping on this battle if there's any battles going on. No, they're not. So Saf, welcome to the broadcast booth, and a lot of people want to know what happened to you in this race.
Well, pretty much everything wrong, I guess you could say. Obviously in qualifying, got some front wing damage on the outlap, but I thought, oh, let's just get some practice in anyway. And then I got a bit more front wing damage on the first corner after having understeer. And then out of to back, I had just too much understeer and I lost right wheel, so yeah, I wasn't expecting much better. And then in the race, got put into the wall by someone ahead of me. And then later on down the road, I actually got a puncture on the rear right. No contact or anything, just out of nowhere puncture, which is the first. So I thought, okay, let's go on to the softs, see if we can recover anything. And then I also got a puncture on the softs, but that was actually from contact. And then I went on to, I was trying, okay, let's do 2 ultra soft since, because why not? There's nothing left to do.
Got interrupted. Oh, there's been contact. Sorry to interrupt you there, Saf. There's been contact with Saf. Not Saf. I can't believe I just said that. You're here. Berg's made contact, and he's going down the inside of Max. This is not an overtaking position. And there's been contact there. Oh, and there's been contact behind, but I think Max is still going to continue.
Yeah,
but that was not a great place to overtake right now.
Did Berg have damage as well?
Berg,
yeah,
I think has got. He has indeed. He's got damage on his front right there. That could be a steward's inquiry. I've got a feeling Max will not be happy with that, and we'll have to wait and see if at the end of the race if there is a steward's inquiry with that one. But
Nick has to pull a gap now on Berg with damage.
He has to. But sorry to interrupt you there, Saf. Do you want to continue?
Well, I don't even remember where it was. Oh yeah, on the ultra soft stint. Surprise, surprise, another puncture. This time out of the noble chicane.
Berg's in.
Okay.
He's in.
Yeah, and so is Max, I think.
We've got a Renault in the pits. I think that's Papa in the pits. He is indeed. What's he going on? It's the super soft tyres. Very early, I've got to say. That 14. Marco, do you think these can go to the end with what, 26 laps on super soft tyres? Can they get to the end on those? Maybe
26 laps. Ooh,
it's pushing it.
Tricky for sure, but yeah, where's there's a will, there's a way.
We'll have to wait and see.
My game just crashed, so I'll be right back.
Oh no, Marco. Unfortunately, Slick is retired from the race as well. He's had an accident, so Slick is out of the Grand Prix. Saf, we just want to ask a question. Were you paid by Pirelli to go out on the track at Monaco, testing out season 14 of AOR with the tyres on there? And we've got I think Slick's just retired. We'll just see his ghost car there. But Saf, were you hired by Pirelli to showcase all the tyres?
Yeah, they rigged my car in qualifying so that I'd get some damage, and then so they knew I'd start from the back. They knew someone would take me out at the start of the race, so right, let's get all these tyres into Williams, and yeah, I just did some testing for them really.
Have to wait and see as the leaders are now made their pit stops right now. Ram is in the pits on super soft tyres. Afro has stayed out on the ultra soft tyre, and it's actually quite close between these two, as I think Afro's on another set of ultra softs actually, so that's interesting for Afro there, unless he had a bit of I think he's gone out on ultra soft tyres again. This is interesting actually. I don't think the super softs won't last the end of the Grand Prix, or they will be absolutely struggling at the end. That is very surprising, I've got to say, right now. So this could be a good tactic that could work, or it may not. We'll have to wait and see. But Saf, you want to give a shout out to anyone in the stream, or anyone that you know that you want to give a shout out to?
Pretty much everyone demanding you to ask a question about a certain word that is massively dropped in the chat.
Yeah, I can see it.
Everyone there.
But I don't think we'll ask him. I don't think we'll ask that, because we are a very nice broadcast team, so we don't want any of that. But Saf, thank you very much for joining us, and I'll probably speak to you at the end of the broadcast anyway. So unfortunate for you, and we'll see you in Canada next week.
Yeah, see you. Thank you.
So this is interesting, Marco. I've got to say, if Afro has pitted, I'm just going to double check very quickly if he has pitted.
Yeah, race director Afro is on super soft, Ram is on ultra soft.
Okay, that's Cody's once again doing a bit of a glitch. So great.
What? They're not supposed to go on ultra soft for a second time.
So
I'm
this is what
quite curious.
Afro's worked this absolutely spot on here, pitting early, and he's got the undercut here. So this
He
is
in P1. Wow.
And Berg, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 14.2. So the undercut has worked beautifully for Afro and jumps out of Wycombs. And also, where is Ramdrop in all of this? He's in P2. So really, Ramdrop, you tried everything you can, of course, but Afro going for that little cheeky undercut has cost him the lead of the Grand Prix there. But who's going to last on these tyres is the ultimate question, as my ghost car is having a little bit of a little mare right there and gets out of the way of Ramdrop there and will hopefully let Wycombs through safely, as Wycombs has hit the wall actually behind him, and I'm not sure if he's got any contact there, but a very hard knock on the wall there for Wycombs, and that is not what he needs as he gets past my AI car. But this is a great opportunity for Afro here to pull away and try and win the Grand Prix here. But
did he like pit 1 lap earlier or 2 laps?
I think he pitted a couple of laps earlier, so that is very
2.2
interesting.
seconds behind the leader, so good undercut.
That is interesting, I've got to say. I am very intrigued if Afro can hold out on those tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. Maybe he's got
hold back ultra soft runners behind you pretty easily on super soft.
and people in the chat are going, Marco, can you say boah?
Maybe later.
Maybe later. We'll have to wait and see. Wycomb's having a little bit of not a good couple of laps here, but he's just got to get back into that groove he had on the opening stint and not make those mistakes, because AOR drivers can make incidents there, as we've got Fab Racer who's left the session, so he's out of the Grand Prix unfortunately. So not a good day for one half of the McLaren booth, as lots of people rooting for a wide range of drivers, which is great to see. We've got Wycombs as well in there. We've got Nick B in there as well, even though Nick B's down the pecking order unfortunately. Ramdrop though not catching up to Afro right now. The gap is 1.3 seconds as they approach half distance in this race at Monaco. I just want to quickly say, guys, a thank you to all of you who are watching this right now. Over 200 people watching this. Watching an AOR broadcast is absolutely fantastic, so very much appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for coming along. And me doing this on my own is very difficult, but I'm trying my very best.
Oh, you're not alone, Ryan. You got me.
Yeah, no, there you go. We've got at least I've got my Ted Kravitz with me.
Could you check race directive for me? But for me, it does say Ram has a penalty. So
I will have a look right now, and he does have a penalty actually. So Ramdrop has a penalty. Maybe that could be the reason why he's lost the lead of the Grand Prix potentially. When he pitted, maybe he had a 5-second stop-go penalty, maybe, or we're not too sure if it's a time penalty or it's a stop-and-go penalty, which hopefully we can get some clarification from Ramdrop at the end of the race, maybe if we have time for an interview with him this evening. But the top three all in a camera shot right now, but Afro still leads from Ramdrop and then Wycombs there, but Kalon in P4 for Ferrari. I think he's not made a pit stop yet, but a great drive here from the Ferrari driver, as Kimi Räikkönen obviously...
yeah.
Boah,
You're right, Ryan. They Maffes and Kalon both didn't make their stops yet.
So these guys, I've got to say, Maffes doing well. 19 laps on ultra soft tyres, if that is the case. That is a fantastic job from Maffes, who I believe is on a fresh set of those ultra soft tyres. So this is what I was saying. 20 laps these tyres can go long for, and he does indeed go into the pit lane, does Maffes, for his final stop of the race. And I think definitely he will go to the end of the Grand Prix on a set of super soft tyres, as we're about to find out what he's going on. And the boys at Haas are ready for him, and he is indeed going on to another set. He's going to a set of super soft tyres, which will definitely get him to the end of the Grand Prix. With 20 laps to go, he should be comfortable there. Max down in P9, he was fighting for 4th in this Grand Prix, has a lot of work to do right now. Berg still in 8th place, but he's got Failer ahead of him now, and this is for position for P7. And just up the road is Nick B and Papa fighting over, I believe it's for P5 in this Monaco Grand Prix. So lots of battles up and down the field, but we'll just keep an eye at the minute where Kalon is at this point, because this is going to be the one to watch here when Kalon and also obviously Maffes pitted behind, so Kalon could pit now if he wanted to and jump onto Ultras, because he knew that Mathers came in just before on Ultra Softs, and if Kalon could get a very good time here, a good in-lap here, he could be on course here for a very strong end to the race on those Ultra Soft tyres if he can manage them very well. Is he going to pit? No, he stays out for another lap there. But at the front then we will go.
So Ryan, considering those soft tires, I don't know if something happened to Fizzy other than driving on them, but he's in dead last at the moment.
Oh dear, that's not what we want to see for any Fizzy fans right now. Maybe he's hit the wall. There's been a bit of a lock-up here at the last couple of corners. Don't know what happened there, but look at under pressure from Fizzy then. So Fizzy not having the greatest of races this week, which is a disappointment for a lot of you in the chat right now. And people are saying, I assume Fizzy's dead. No, he's not dead. He's at the bottom there in 14th place. He's not classified last, as actually think Fab Race is not there anymore. So Fizzy is indeed last, which is not where he wants to be right now. But you can see, look at the gap now. Afro's got to Ram 1.2 seconds. So the operating away Wycombe's still there as well. But we've just got to keep an eye on Kalon here. I think he could be one to watch out for. He's not going to be in the podium positions, but he could be on for a good point sole if he continues right now. But he's got a train of cars hunting him down. Papa and Nick B fighting over for P5 in this one. I've got to say, Papa doing a fantastic job in only his second race in AOR. He's fighting with one of the championship contenders and gets a beautiful run actually out of the swim pool complex. Tries to go around the outside of Nick B, just can't get it done. Nick B defending brilliantly in that penultimate corner, but this is going to get absolutely tasty right now. There's about, what, 5 cars in one shot for P5 here, and this is what we want actually, battling up and down the field, and it's just going to be another Nick B train in a minute, and it actually is. Look at the number of cars there. Papa's going to try and go around the outside, but just nowhere to go, and I have to stay put for P6 for now. But I think we need another hashtag train going on right now in the chat right now, because Nick B is leading it, but I think Kalon maybe actually could do this tactically and maybe let his teammate through and then maybe hold them up to give Nick B a chance to pull away and have just a little bit of pressure off him for the time being as well. But Afro coming into the last couple of corners he goes, and he still leads this Grand Prix with Ram drop in second, and Wycombe's just a little bit off the pace right now. He's only just under 3 seconds off the race lead, but maybe he's just going to back off a little bit, stay within the leaders, and then make his charge at the end of the race. And we've still got 17 laps to go in this Grand Prix, but we're going to go back down and just see where the battles are happening right now. There is Kalon in P4, and Nick B is right on the back of him right now, and Kalon loses that back end just a little bit there as they come into that penultimate corner. And is Kalon going to pit? No, he stays out again right now, so maybe he's just going to make sure the Ultra Softs can last to the end of the Grand Prix. But look at this now, 6 cars for P4 right now. This could end horribly wrong, or it could be an absolute stonker of a battle between all of them right now. And this is not what will Ferrari do right now. Will they let Nick B through? And Papa's getting a little bit agitated right now behind Nick B. So we don't know what happened. We could see a Berg von Trips moment again right now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But look at the amount of cars in one shot going into this middle sector. Kalon doing fantastically well to hold on with 5 cars behind him. That is ultimate pressure for an AOR driver to see 5 cars all in one shot, and they're all trying to get past each other. This is...
Ram's also closing in on Afro now.
Oh, and we see a move. Nick B is let through by Kalon, and Papa's going to try and get past him there, but this is what Nick B needed right now, and now it's a Kalon train right now.
Oh, nice.
Right now, so that is very tactical there from Ferrari. I think they may have had a little word in Discord and say, let me through, mate, and I'll give you some rewards later on. But that is a very tactical move from there. There's a Force India's going to try and make a move in the background as well. Papa's going to come in, and there's me coming in the pits in the background there. But that is what Nick B needs. Kalon finally pits, and there's been contact behind. There's been contact. I think a Mercedes just had a little bit of a back-end loss there. I think it was Max, and I think that was Berg. And Berg and Max once again in the fighting arena once again after what happened at the hairpin there. But as you said, Ramdrop has closed that gap massively to nearly half a second, and we've got a McLaren ahead of him there. I think that's Fab Racer's ghost car still running around the circuit. Obviously it's ghosted, so that's good news, and we won't have any incidents with him right now. As he's just
kind of went backwards after that pit stop instance.
I've got to say, I think this is not a good race for Berg, and this could actually open up the championship a lot more, thanks to like obviously Wycombe's up in P3, Ramdrop in P2, and these guys could close that gap down, and the championship fight could be more than 3 drivers. It could be even more right now.
Well, Ryan, if you remember, like before the pit stops, that Berg was actually behind the Force India, which was actually very close to Nick. So now Nick is in 4th and Berg is in 8th.
That's a big chunk of points, I've got to say.
But still 35 seconds away from the P1 Nick is, so that's a lot.
We'll have to wait and see right now, as Berg is getting very agitated right now, as I think there's a Force India coming in. Berg's coming in. Not Berg, sorry. Failer. Excuse me. Failer's in the pits, and he will be jumping onto a set of the ultra soft tyre. And this could work out very well for Failer. We have to wait and see right now, as the ultra softs can be up to nearly a second and a half quicker than the super soft tyre. So we'll have to wait and see. But Fizzy in up to P12 now. So Fizzy's on the charge, and he's fighting with Nooker. And also,
if you look at the gap from like P3 to P4, you can definitely see that the top 3 are really on a different level today compared to the rest of the grid.
The gap is around 34 seconds from 3rd to 4th place, and just shows you that these top 3 are the kings of Monaco right now. And we'll have to wait and see. The chat's very interestingly is talking about a very interesting discussion right now. I'm not going to mention it, but it's very interesting, I've got to say. So well done to you guys for some weird conversation going on right now. But this is going to be quite an interesting 14 laps here. 3 drivers. This is like Canada, or not Canada, China all over again. 3 drivers in with a chance to win the Grand Prix, and Ramdrop very close now to the back of Afro's McLaren Honda. And what would the scenes be in the chat if a McLaren wins a race? That would be something that would just be amazing, I've got to say.
I think that this will be the most crucial part of the race, in which P3 will probably think I have a gap to P4. I could go for the faster tires now in case P1 his tires wear out by the end and he has to stop. And that will give him like a giant undercut, but yeah, he has to decide pretty soon, because yeah.
We'll wait and see. If I was Wycombs, I would take that risk. Obviously being, what, 2 seconds quicker as well. So we'll wait and see.
Like, go for ultras on this lap and then fly till the end. Yeah, like 3rd place is in the back, but you can get more, you know. And P2 is bound to pit as well if he's on ultras, so then it's up to P1 if his tires last, and if he pits, like if he has to pit like near the end, then he's pretty much lost the victory.
We'll see. As we're on board with Papa, as someone in the chat what is cheering on for Papa, so I'm going to put him on camera for you. I think it was Zelda that mentioned it. So Zelda, here you go, as Papa's going for P4 against Nick B. So Nick B is going to be under pressure, and this is what Nick B does not want, because if he gets overtaken, then obviously the gap to Berg in the championship will be a little bit bigger than if he is in P4. So we'll have to wait and see if Papa can get past Nick B in that Ferrari, and see if he can get up to a top 4 finish. Would be great in only his 2nd race, and he's going for trying to go for the outside move. Just can't get it done for now, but he's putting in a lot of pressure. As Fader now, fastest lap of the Grand Prix with a 13.8, and I'm pretty sure that is an ultra soft, as we saw in the pits right now. So we'll see what's going to happen in these final few laps. And we've got a Force India Max as well. We've got to keep an eye on Max as well, who's in P6. He had a bit of a disappointing middle part of the race with incidents with Berg, but we'll see how he gets on in these last few laps. But we'll just keep an eye on the battles up front. But we'll go to the back of the field right now, as Fab Race, unfortunately, of course, is out of the race. Fader in 14th is now on the back of Fizzy on those soft compound tyres, and there's a nice battle here, which I think is for P11 right now, and it's
Nick's under pressure as well now by the Renault.
And Fader's trying to go around the outside of Fizzy right now, but just can't get it done. Fizzy holds on for 13th now, that unlucky number 13. I may have just given the commentator's curse right now, but we'll wait and see. As we know, commentator's curse has happened quite recently in these races, and I may have just given Fizzy the one there for this week, so we'll keep an eye on that. As you said, Nick B under pressure from Papa, as you've mentioned, would get up to that battle right now, and you got to say it's a freeway scrap here for P4. You got to count Max in this battle as well, and Max trying to get past the AI car of myself, and obviously he's ghosted, so that's great for him. So he doesn't have to worry about going through the middle there. And we could, just like what McDuppy's put in the chat, Giancarlo Fizzy Keller fan 1991. What a great comment there from Duppy, I've got to say. On there, but we'll just keep an eye on the battle. The gap is 1.2, so Ram starting to lose a little bit there, but Wycombs is coming back into the little mix now. He's coming in with only 11 laps to go. What did I say earlier to you, Marco? He's back. He's going to back off a little bit, then he's going to make a charge, and I think now he's activated that mode right now, and he's piling the pressure on Ram Drop for P2 in this Grand Prix. And if Wycombs wants to win this, he's got to get past Ram as soon as possible.
Yeah, if he intends to stay out, then he needs to get ahead now within 2 laps.
We'll have to see. He's got to get past it. We're coming to the final 10 laps of the Grand Prix, the most critical part of the Grand Prix. And Humphries thinks that he's cheering on Wycombs here in this top 3 scrap for the win. But who do you think is going to win the Grand Prix, guys? Let me know in the comments right now who you think will win this between Afro, Ramdrop and Wycombs for the Grand Prix. You never know. All 3 could crash. We don't know what could happen right now. So
it looks like to be your man so far today, Ryan.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm going to get this absolutely spot on for 1 week, I've got to say, as well. But if you like what you see, guys, make sure you hit that like button. Let's try and go over 100 likes on the stream. That would be amazing. Or even 150, or even 200. We'll see what you guys can do. It is Monaco, and you guys know it's a great battle on what you're seeing on your screen right now. Great shot overhead right now, going towards the slowest part of the circuit, the slowest corner in Formula 1, and it's a full lock corner as well on the wheel. But you can see Wycombs there piling the pressure on Ramdrop. But even so, they're both catching the race leader Afro right now. So I think Afro's had a little bit of a poor lap in the previous one, driving as Jenson Button, who also makes his return to Formula 1 this week in Monaco next week. There's been contact there. There's Nooker, I think, and a Ferrari of Kalon. I don't know what's happened there. And I think Kalon's retired, so he's out of the Grand Prix. Nooker's still going, and I'm not sure what happened there. And I think he's trying to let Kalon through, but I think he's just realised now that Kalon has retired from the Grand Prix, and that is a disappointment for Nooker. And he's going to carry on to try and get that car back to the pits and just go for fastest lap of the race potentially. But that is not what we want to see. Failer still behind Fizzy for P11 in this Grand Prix, so Fizzy's doing not too well. Kalon has left the session now, so he's out of the Grand Prix. And I just saw it and I thought, what are those two doing? They're just having a little park and they're just going to get a bit of suntan on them or something in at Monaco in the harbour bay, or maybe they're going to go on the boat or something with Heikki Kovalainen or something, getting the party going or whatnot in the Amber Lounge later on this evening, these drivers. So we'll wait and see. Is that the leaders behind the car?
They're about lap failure and
yeah, I've just noticed the leaders in the background. This is going to get tasty, I've got to say. This is not what Afro does not need. 2 drivers ahead of him fighting for P11 in this Grand Prix. It's going to be scary for these guys.
Awesome.
It's awesome for us to watch, but these drivers are going to be bricking it, these top 3, heading towards there. Maybe Fizzy could do a little bit of a cheeky help there for his teammate, Wycombs, in this race. We're just going to have to wait and see. But Afro's got to get past these guys. Both Fizzy and Failer will be getting the blue flag surely by now. And we just got to wait and see. But they're coming on then to 8 laps to go in this Monaco Grand Prix. Who are you guys cheering on right now in the chat? I would love to hear what you guys want right now.
No blue flags yet, so it's gonna
no blue flags. Fizzy piling the pressure right now. Do I still have to pay £5 if Fizzy wins?
Blue flags.
Yeah, Sammy, you still have to do it as Nooker has left the session, so he's out of the Grand Prix. And I can now say to the moderators of the stream, the votes are now going to be available to vote now for your driver of the day. So the mods will post it in the chat for the remainder of 8 laps. So you guys can get your votes in, and we'll reveal the winner by the end of the broadcast right now. So the mods will post it in right now. And Nooker's in the chat, disappointed. You can see he's saying his season's starting to turn out to be a big joke. It's unfortunate for your incident there, Nooker, and we hope to see you back next week in Canada a bit strong and get back up into the points-paying positions right now. But you can see Wycombs in the background there, all over the back of Ramdrop once again. But they're not getting past the back markers that quickly, I've got to say. So, it should be quite interesting.
Fizzy is still pulling out, and
Fizzy, yep, Fizzy's backing off, so that's great to see. Fizzy does not want any part of this battle. but Ramdrop's got DRS. Importantly for Afro, he has got driver of the not driver of the day. Why am I saying that? He's got DRS actually from Fizzy there, so that's helped him just maintain that gap between the top two top drivers behind him actually of Wycombs and Ramdrop. But this is going to be tasty. We want to check the battles but down the field, but Ramdrop is all over the back of Afro right now. But remember, yes, 32 plus 5 is 37. Yes.
Nick is also being chased by 3 cars now.
Oh,
the same 3
Wycombs
cars that he was chased by before.
Wycombs getting a lot of corner there, a lot of the curb there at the hairpin, so that's not what you want to see. We'll quickly go back down the field. As you mentioned, Nick B's being powered. Oh my god, look at these cars. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 cars all in shot right now. Nick B's leading it. Papa is in 5th, and I think that's Max in P6, and we've got obviously the championship leader Berg in P7. That is not what we wanted. Yes, great maths from me, I've got to say. That's me. That's the Pastor Marinara seal of approval for you guys in the chat. So the mods will be posting Driver of the Day votes right now. You have until the end of the race to get your votes in right now for who you think deserves Driver of the Day for this round of the Apex Online Racing Season 13 race here at Monaco. But we don't want to give our thoughts yet on Driver of the Day till after the race, so we'll let you know. But yes, the Nick B train is back once again, but we'll go back to that battle later on as we're going back up to the leaders right now, as we've got 6 laps to go here, and this is getting to the nitty-gritty stage right now. Ramdrop.
Oh, contact into the chicane behind Nick.
Oh
train.
yes, I see that. Max has been spun. That is not
again. That guy's been so unlucky.
He's been so unlucky. He's the Jody and Palmer of the stream tonight, I've got to say. Unlucky in some aspects, but Max is still in a shot here, because remember, if there's more contact with these 3 drivers of Berg, Papa and Nick B, he could still get P5. So I've got to say, Zelda's come in now saying Papa's driver of the day, so I'll probably say unlucky driver of the day, then I would agree with you, of course, right there. But that's unfortunate.
Wycombe looks feisty.
Yep, he does indeed. We're going to jump on with him right now as he's getting very aggressive. Ramdrop runs a little bit wide in that penultimate corner and will give Wycombs the chance to try and get ever closer. But Ramdrop's got DRS, unfortunately, for Wycombs, which is not what he needs right now.
That's why he should have made a move around lap 29, because back then the Red Bull wasn't.
Geordie's just coming about Jody and Palmer. I quite like that comment. I do agree with you there, Geordie.
What did he say?
He said Jody and Palmer isn't lucky, he's just rubbish. And then he grabs his popcorn. I've got to say that's not too bad. Those trees have a lot of leaves.
You gotta say he's unlucky that he was born rubbish.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have to wait and see. I know moderators Nick's not going to be happy with that comment, I'm not going to lie. But interesting comment here from Elude HD. He goes, those trees have a lot of leaves. And I do agree, actually, after the chicane in the middle sector. There's a lot of leaves on the track, so maybe that could have a little bit there. We'll have to wait and see. I'm surprised Tabac hasn't been covered in them. That's a good point, actually, I have to say. But they're blowing away off the racing circuit. But Wycomb's still a second behind. But this has been probably one of the closest we've seen the top 3 all in shot right now. And this is going to be important for Afro, because we know he pitted early. His tyres are going to be absolutely shot near the end of the race. Maybe the next couple of laps compared to the likes of Ramdrop and Wycombs here. So
they're already
he's right on the back of him now. I think he's. Oh, I thought he was going to go for a move there, Ramdrop, but he stays in line for now. And I thought for a second there, Ramdrop had DRS down up the hill there. I thought that'd be a bit weird, but might just be a glitch on my end. So we'll see how we get on. But it's still wide open right now for the win here in Monaco. Ramdrop getting very aggressive, late on the brakes, and nearly hits the back of the McLaren. I think Wycombs here is just going to sit back for a little bit right now and just wait for an incident to happen between these 2 drivers, between Ramdrop and Afro, and just slip his car down the inside and take the lead of the Grand Prix. But wait and see how that goes. But remember, guys, you've got only 4 laps to go to get your votes in for Driver of the Day. It is in the chat right now if you want to get your votes in right now, and should be quite interesting. I've got a driver in mind who I think deserves Driver of the Day, but we'll talk about that later on until the end, because we could see someone just getting in there as a candidate for Driver of the Day. But I've got to say the top 3 are definitely in with a shout of Driver of the Day, just for cleaning and like clean battles throughout. Ramdrop slides it there out of the penultimate corner. So does Wycombs as well. But Afro, we've got to say, he's in with a chance here, winning his first Grand Prix in PC Split 1 here with a brilliant strategy call, I've got to
does
say.
have a penalty after all, so it will be P3 for him automatically if it says like
So
this.
it's not a 5-second penalty then, it's a definite slam dunk one at the end of the race.
It says like warning plus penalty, I would assume it's plus 3 seconds.
Could be. We'll wait until the end of the race to get confirmation on that. So we don't know if Ram Drop's going to be dropped down to 3rd or not. We'll wait and see until we get clarification from the race director at the end of the race. But Afro's got a Sauber ahead of him, which obviously is ghosted, and then we've got a Haas. I think that's Fukataro is the next driver to be lapped, and it is indeed, as he's going to have to try and get past my Sauber car in this one, so if he gets out of the way, he does indeed. But that surely is a bit of a distraction there, I've got to say, having a ghost car of a Sauber, which isn't really racing in this Grand Prix, and just distract the drivers a little bit, but it's given Afro a chance.
I have an update for the penalties if you want, Ryan.
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
So Berg from Trips has 3 seconds. Ram also has 3 seconds. Papa Socrates has 3 seconds as well.
I've just seen the chat right now. Driver of the day has to go to Max Verstappen for sure. Well, it could be the case. He is driving. Well, Ramdrop's driving as him in this Grand Prix. So if you are correct with the 3-second penalty, Afro is on course here to win his first race in PC Split 1, unless Wycombs pulls something out of the bag right now and tries to get past both Ramdrop and Afro to win this one. But look at these guys. They're right near each other right now. This is brilliant to see. Nearly 8 tenths covers the top 3 drivers with 2 laps to go. Can these races just be like it is for the rest of the season right now, as we've got Maldonado coming in as driver of the day apparently in chat? But what a race this has been between the top 3 there, showcasing his...
driver gets out of the way real nicely.
Yep, Fukataro gets out of the way there. Oh, and Wycombs tries to get a cheeky move there, thanks to that Haas there of Fukataro, tries to make a move on Ramdrop there. But Afro is about to start the final lap then of the Monaco Grand Prix. He is 1 lap away from winning his first ever race in PC Split 1, and he's got just a shy of, what, 1 minute and 13 seconds to go. We are on the final lap now. Who is going to win this race? We know Ramdrop has got a penalty. He is definitely out of the running. But Wycombs, I think, has just left it too late and just has to just pray that Afro has an issue. And if he does retire from the race, then we know Ramdrop has a penalty. And all he's just got to do now is just pray that... and there's been contact, I think. There has been contact. I've lost words there. I think that I've lost the plot today. I've lost it. Ramdrop is in the wall, and he is out of a shot of victory right now. But this opens the door now for Wycombs to try and close the gap.
He had a penalty, and he's still in third.
That is not what we want to see, Ryan, for driver of the day. Thank you so much, but I'm not racing, so I'm absolutely surprised about that. But Ram had to make the move to try and win this one. I just think he just didn't really give enough room, and
I think Afro's got it here.
He paid the price, unfortunately, but here comes Afro then. Coming into the final sector he goes, and what a race for Afro. Comes in early, tries to go for the cheeky undercut, and it has paid off for him here, as XLNC Afro comes round the final corner, and he will win round 5 of the Apex Online Racing PC Split 1. He's weaving, he's so happy, and he wins here in Monaco. What a drive from Afro, and Wycombs will come home in 2nd place as well. Ram will come home in P3, pending penalties as well, and I think he's got a big enough gap to Nick B, so I think he's going to hold off there for P3.
Oh, Nick's like half a...
There he is, and I've just jumped on board with him.
He has shaken off the guys behind him, look.
I've got to say.
Where did Papa Socrates go?
Yeah, where's Papa's gone? Papa's down in P8 right now. He's 7 seconds off Nick B, so I don't know what's happened to Papa.
Berg doesn't have a front wing.
Oh, no, he doesn't as well. Berg could be under pressure here. And who's that? Mathis. Mathis could get P5 here. Mathis could be on shot here for a top 5. And what did I say? Mathis could be in with a sniff right now. And there's a Force India behind him as well. I think that's Max trying to get past Mathis. But if Berg can hold on here, I've got to say fair play to Berg von Trips if he holds on. with a broken front wing. He is indeed going to hold on.
Wow.
The P5. I've got to give props to Berg there.
Jesus.
As Mathis comes home in P6, Max will come home in P7. Oh, that I've got to say, fair play to Berg there
Wow.
at the end of the race there. Chicane comes home in 9th place for Toro Rosso, and he's going to be the last man to complete the field. And look at those penalties. That's what we want to see
For Chicane.
as well. And here's the official results then. Afro wins for the first time in AOR by nearly 2 seconds from Wycombe. Then it's Ramdrop in third with a penalty. Then it's Nick B in fourth. Mathis comes home in P5. Max in P6. Berg drops to 7th with a penalty with 9 seconds worth of penalties. That's not what he wants to see. Chicane goes to 8th with 3 seconds of penalties as well. Papa down to 9th with 3 seconds worth of penalties as well. Actually 9 seconds worth of penalties. Then Fukutaro in 10th with being a lap down. Fizzy in 11th. Fader in 12th. And who else? We've got Fab Race in 13th. Me apparently in 14th, which is great for me. Driver of the day for me, lads. And then Nooker, Kalon, Slick, Saf, Natty all retiring from the Grand Prix. What a race that was. And very controversial last lap, I've got to say. Ramdrop had to just go for the move if you can to try and win this one and put up 3 seconds. But what a race that was, Marco, I've got to say. And
super close all the way till the end. Yeah, definitely one for the books once again.
Yep, definitely I've got to say right there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to just jump over now towards the interviews then, and we'll have a little short interview and we'll collect the results of Driver of the Day right now. So who do we bring in first is the question, I've got to say.
I'd like to know what happened to Papa Socrates that made him drop positions, not only because of his penalty, but he was like behind Nick B till basically the last lap.
Well, unfortunately I was going to bring in the race winner, but unfortunately he's gone from the Discord, so it's a bit disappointing really. I would like to speak to him. Who do we bring in?
Let me find him.
Who do we bring in
Where is
first?
Socrates?
Papa, we'll bring Papa in.
He's a new driver.
We'll bring Papa in first. Marco, you can answer the questions because you definitely want to know what's going on. Papa, welcome to the commentary booth. If he's there, Papa.
Hello.
Ah, there he is, Papa. You're the first one here this evening for the commentary booth. Papa, first question Marco wants to know, what happened at the end there? You were fighting with Nick B. What happened?
Yeah, I fighted him, I think, for 20 laps after my first pit stop. And I was quite faster than him. So, but I couldn't get past him. Then from behind, I think Berg was it, going to the chicane, was side to side with me. In my point of view, he was behind me and I turned in, and so I spinned around. Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I've got to say though, your pace looked pretty good at the opening stint, and also after the first pit stop, you're in P5. And how are you feeling going into this race at Monaco? Obviously, a very difficult circuit to get right, and you did pretty well, I've got to say, in that middle stint. How was it for you on the tyres at the end there?
I was a bit surprised by myself because my best lap also in qualifying before was a 12.9, and I don't know why today I found some time and drove 12.1, I think.
Oh, nice, good improvement, man.
Yeah, and I'm not the best qualifier, so I know that I'm pretty faster in the race, so I'm much better in the race. So that's not a surprise for me. That and the Renault is a good car for me.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a great car, obviously being the banana one, so get you,
yes,
you know.
But, yeah, but I know what was a great pace, but I couldn't get past Nick B, so I couldn't make any thing.
It is very hard to here.
It is indeed very.
Yeah, I was 10
different.
times. I think side by side with him, but can't get past. If I risk a little bit more, there will be a crash.
There would indeed. Next week is Canada, Papa. Are you good around there? Do you feel you have a good car to fight with the big boys, maybe? Because you look pretty good around here at Monaco, and definitely a top 5 contender. So,
if I'm honest, I have no clue. I never drove in Canada before in this game.
Oh, really? Wow.
No, I actually don't drive this game that much. Yeah, so it's the first time Canada, but I quite like this map from F1's 215 and further, so I hope it can be better this time in the race.
We'll have to wait and see.
Well, you can always sign up to a social during the week to get your race practice in.
I hope, because but I have at the moment I do not have much time, because I have my exams now, my finals exams now this week, so I don't have much time. But I hope it will be enough to be competitive again.
Well, on behalf of myself and the rest of the chat right now, we wish you all the best of luck with your last exam this week, Papa, and you hope you smash it, and we'll see you next week in Canada, and all the best, mate, for this week, and we'll see you next week.
Good race.
Thank you. Thanks.
And look who's joined us back
Afro.
in Discord. Afro is back. I think Afro will be the last one because I've got some issues on my end, so we'll bring in the race winner now. Here he is, Afro in the McLaren. Wins for the first time in PT Split 1. Afro, first and foremost, congratulations on your first win. How does it feel?
Bloody, that was the most intense 50 minutes race I've ever had.
Props to you. First question from me is, you did the undercut, didn't you, on the leaders, and it worked a treat, I've got to say. Was that the plan going into this race?
I didn't really know what lap to pit, but I was struggling like crazy on the first stint at the end, so I thought I may as well pit now, just so the undercut has an opportunity of actually getting the lead. So went for it, and luckily came out just ahead of Nick B, and managed to nail the lap and just get ahead of Ram when I came past him.
I've got to say, how did it feel having not just Ram job, but also Ycoms in your mirrors for the last 13 laps of that Grand Prix? How did it feel for you to have those two drivers right behind you fighting for the lead? How did that feel?
At first it was alright. I mean, I was managing my tyres, but then at one point I noticed I was getting both indicators of both drivers behind me and like into Lowe's hairpin. And that it was pretty tricky to get the exit right, but it was alright in the end.
Yeah, there was so many wear on your tires. Like, how much were they worn in the end?
I didn't have it open the whole time, but I noticed I was struggling. I think my first stint I hit like 70%.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
That is
Well,
very
the
high.
one stop is possible. Ideal pit lap is 16, but 14, yeah, you stretch them out pretty nicely.
But personally, I would say I was not expecting you to last to the end of the race on those super soft tyres. I was expecting a puncher. So I actually give you props there, Afro, for holding out to the end there. So I give you kudos right there. And I can also let you know as well, on the Driver of the Day votes, that you have won Driver of the Day this week.
Nice.
With 42% of the vote went
Look
to
at
you.
that
So
double whammy.
I've got to say,
Who was next closest?
it's actually a tie between Ycoms and I think it was Berg. I think Berg somehow got up a few votes there. So props to you, Afro. There, you deserved it, to be fair, because I think I actually had you as the winner going into the formation up. I had you as the one to win. And
I had the man on pole for the win, so I was wrong.
And historically, I know you don't know this, but whoever I pick has bad luck in the race. So I'm glad that you got that right for me. So thank you, Afro. Thank you so much.
No problem.
On there. One last question for me. Next week, Canada. Can you repeat this week and go for 2 for 2 and cement your championship status potentially?
I wish I could say yes, but I kind of consider Canada one of my weakest circuits.
You can hope for rain. You never know. No, are you good in mixed conditions?
The rain hasn't helped me.
Well, I mean, you're driving as JB, so you can get that inner JB in you and attack and go for the win, maybe.
Repeat history. Yeah.
Yeah, repeat history. Do a 2011 for us.
I'll try.
As well. Have you got anyone to give a shout out to this evening for your win, Afro?
Not really.
Have you got a YouTube channel or anything like that? Twitter? Do you want to give it, promote or?
I don't really do much on it. I just upload the races after the race if someone needs to see anything.
Well, there you go. Well, there you go then. If you want to see anything, go to the AOR website and have a look at Afro's whatever he's going to upload there if he does, if it's important. But Afro, massive congratulations for you, mate. Well-deserved winner this week, and hopefully you can repeat that next week in Canada. And thank you very much for joining us, and have a good night's sleep tonight and have a shoey on me. So you deserve it.
Thank you. Good night.
So that will wrap things up, Marco, this evening for tonight's broadcast of the AOR PC Split 1 here at Monaco. Ending a little bit earlier because I have got a bit of connection issues on my end, so I'm glad that it's now come right now and not in the race, so that's a great sign for us. But massive thanks to Marco joining me again this week for our little tech crowd. It's a little bit more exposure from you this week, obviously with Chris not being here, so I want to appreciate that, Marco, for coming out.
Yeah, thanks once again, Ryan. It was fun, as always. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
We will indeed, and we hope to see Chris back next week. Also want to give a shout out to PC Split 2 driver Rigorous Tiger for providing us the lap guide for Monaco this week. Next week at Canada will be done by a PC Split 1 driver. We're not going to mention who it is, but it is a PC Split 1 driver for Canada next time around. So
is the current one or a past one?
It's a current PC Split 1 right now. So we'll wait and see. As apparently Sammy now says, if Fizzy wins, I'll give everyone £10. So
again,
I've got a screenshot of it right now. So Sammy, you've got to commit to that right now. But that will wrap things up then this evening. Thank you everyone for watching tonight's broadcast, and if you like what you saw, make sure you hit that like button right now and subscribe as well so you do not miss out on next week's broadcast, which is at Canada, Montreal, for the Canadian Grand Prix. Same time, same place on this channel, guys, and hopefully Kodak will be back for us so he can provide it on his Twitch side of things. But for Marco,
yes, bye everyone, have a good week.
And for myself, guys, have a fantastic evening whatever you're doing around the world, and we shall see you next week at Canada. Until then, have a good night, guys, and see you next week.